time for Flashback. Tracks from the past. Today with stories from the retro past.
Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. This was written by philosopher George Santayana in 1905. And we are all for learning our history here at Flashback, Tracks from the Past. And today's game may not have been the first game of its kind, but it was the one that blew the door of its hinges. Today's game is Doom from ID Software.
I gotta sing the Doom song now! Doom, 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 doom!
And today's first song is Grooveyard by Jazzhjb.
Would you please stop singing?
There is a before and an after Doom. This much is clear. It may not have been the first-person shooter of it all. Castle Wolfenstein often gets that honor. But it did bring an interesting set of ideas to a very captivating mix of gameplay mechanics. More than anything else, the concept of looking out the eyes of your protagonist. But history first. The game began creation in 1992 by developers John Carmack, John Romero, Adrian Carmack, Kevin Cloud and Tom Hall. In 1993 it was released to the public as a series of episodes that were released over time. And today's first medley would be this one. It starts with Ray Hamilton. We have not heard him before on the station, so well, he is on first here with Rip This Entry. Then it's Pastthepixels and Basking, and then it is C512W, a random triangle. You play as the unknown soldier. He is often referred to as Doomguy or Doomslayer. The game is sometimes believed to be 3D in name only. This is, as you can see, the world in 3D, but the character moves on a 2D plane. But you get a graphical immersion that was splendid at the time. The game moves fast and reaction time matters. Compare this to dungeon crawlers that often had the same kind of graphic experience, but moved slowly and in a more exploratory way. The frantic pace, the quality of the whole experience, that is what pushed you forward into a world full of monsters and a sometimes dangerous terrain. But we are going into more well-known such. It is a new song by Reptile and Sky. It's called Deinen Pappa Free. It's German, so maybe dry. can play at different difficulty levels, but most of the time it doesn't really have any need of a well thought out tactic to play. Instead, you try to use the arsenal of weapons you have to your advantage. You must try not to run out of ammo. Powerful weapons give an advantage until you must switch to less effective ones that you still have ammo for. The most crazy weapon is the chainsaw. It's fun to use just for the psychotic look on the face of your character as you cut through the enemies. But you must also note that at this time you're very close to the enemy as well. That may hurt. But we go to the bottom of the well. That's the name of the song from Fregmazors. You're listening to Flashback, tracks from the past. The biggest, baddest weapon is the BFG 9000. It is not stated what BFG means, but everyone knows this one. Big freaking gun 9000, of course. Yeah, I can't say the real name as the podcast is not set too explicit. But you get it, right? It deals heavy damage to the enemies, but its ammo must be conserved, as you may otherwise run into trouble. Otherwise, the guns you have are cool and everybody has their favorite. Mine is the chain gun, and it keeps things rocking, and it's fun enough. And also fun is some really nice new music. It's BenxarPaq and Noisetrance. Doom killed the Amiga. Remember where you heard it first. Or actually, this has been a stated truth for as long as I've heard. And honestly, is that so? I think both yes and no. In reality, the Amiga and the Atari were already underpowered and unready as Castle Wolfenstein hit the shelves. Neither could reliably run the coming-of-age FPS games, at least not with experience comparable to the PC games. The Intel CPUs were miles ahead of the aging Motorola, the latter running on the Amiga and Atari computers. But my assessment is that it was Castle Wolfenstein that dealt the killing blow and Doom put the last nail in the coffin. But let's not be that dramatic and pessimistic. Let's play some really nice music. Digging from the pile of new stuff from Mod Archive. This time is a Walbra and Apex Caudalis. Doom clones, people. Yes, everyone steals everything from everyone, and Doom had a beauty that spawned 1,000 copies. Gloom was the lackluster attempt to bring the experience of Doom to the Amiga, and it did bring a pretty doomed experience, I give you that at least. And let's play some nice music. We run medley number 2. It starts with Ray Hamilton again, but this time Egg Adventure Show. It's Burnt Fishy with Pastthepixels, Keygen, and yeah, we heard Pastthepixels a billion times. It's simply that famous, I would say. And finally it's Encostione and Unrequited Love. the 100th episode of the Crimeicade podcast, I was interviewed by their host, Mad Conservative Crime Fighter. There I stated that all art is grift. Then I explained it as all artists steal from each other, but that is not exactly what the word grift should be used to say. The statement more means that much of art is used to con people. Think like NFTs, propaganda and so on. I could probably have explained it more correctly if I had chosen the words better, but I actually meant what I said. In this case, many of the Doom clones were meant to be a big cash grab for people that thought this was a cool thing to do right now. And the list, it goes on. So does the music. Here is Substance, Undefeated 2026. But as the inspiration went, the revolution was on, and the poor clones were later superseded by good games like Duke Nukem, Half-Life, and later on pretty much every modern game there ever was. Even modern games owe so much to the Doom series of games that it is worth remembering the impact it had far after its own fame had faded. First-person shooters have to be seen as one of the most successful genres in the gaming industry. And it is today strong and looks like it's always been there. You know, the idea of looking out of the player's eyes and onto hordes of enemies that have to be gunned down. But we should be less violent and continue with the third medley of today. That would be Cycler 2, Carried Away by the Wind, Retro 104, The Myth of Realism, C512W, Dedications, and Costione, Broken Heart. And that is now. Let's close book on Doom, the biggest, baddest FPS of its time, and a game that will be remembered forever and ever when everybody talks about the genre. It was awesome. It was a graphic experience you never seen before. It was blazing fast and you were shooting monsters and the graphics was splendid, unless of course you went too close to the enemies and it was pretty pixelated. Some technologies that are common today weren't there already, but most of the basic mouse view things that you come to expect, it was there alright. It was a very good experience. The first episode, the first chapter was free and the other you had to pay for. The verdict can be one and one alone. Of course it is 5 out of 5 BFGs, because what else could it be? And music, it continues with Dippy and Idiosyncrasy. Is it raining medleys today? Yes, it is. For the first time ever, I believe. It's the fourth medley of the day and the last one, of course. We are running low on time. We are starting that up with Ray Hamilton, Large and in Charge, and the new guy here on Flashback, Shy Smile. It's 512 with a C in front of W, and remix Ship Day version 2. Then finally it's Finlay and Angels. ericade.radio is loading up for Edison 2026. It will be in July, and it will be featuring a lot of demo stuff. You know exactly what that is. We will broadcast live, we will conduct interviews, and we will be narrating. It will be me, DJ Daemon, and Koreas. While you think about that, we are going on with Kimran and Candyland. Thank you for listening to Flashback, Tracks from the Past. I'm DJ Daemon, and it is as per usual time to lead you into that good night with the last two songs. It would be Cabbage Drop and Reindeer Starlight, and finally Shadow Sight Thunderstruck. We be hearing from each other in a week from now. Enjoy ericade.radio. Don't forget to go to our website at ericade.radio.